didn't plan, you gave in, you came over here, you spent all your money on a wedding that you could not afford, and here you are. It's your fault. Only one more, count it, one more episode until we finally see every single couple fall apart in The Other Way because they're just not going to make it. And then the tell-all, which is always fireworks, and of course they're fabricating some things to just throw them fireworks even to the stratosphere. But I'm here for it. It's entertaining. Will any of them make it? First off, will Statler and Dempsey be able to actually overcome their hippie van life and make it work? Will Sarper and Shekinah finally come to terms with the fact that one of them doesn't want to go to America? Maybe? We'll see. But we are going to get it started with Tata and James because here we are again with the money issues, and have we finally reached that pinnacle of we cannot stay in Indonesia anymore? We will see. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much. Y'all are awesome. It does not go unnoticed, and I enjoy it every week, so thank you for the support as we continue to go on. Oh my gosh, James and Tata cannot get on the same page, and here we are. They just had their wedding, and they're going right into it with the more drama because guess what? They don't have money.
I had decided to shelve the conversation about going back to the US. And
always a fantastic idea to shelve conversations so you can have a fun time. It always seems to work out well.
Our finances until after the wedding. But we spent so much money on this wedding. Our savings has dwindled away.
It just seems like such a great idea. You had money issues before, and here you are again. You spent so much money on the wedding that you cannot stay there, which was always going to be the case. But guess what? It accelerated the timeline because it was a fantastic idea to spend all this money to make her happy, I guess, and because you wanted to escape from the problems you have in your relationship. That always seems to work in relationships. And here you are again where you started, and guess what? You don't have a choice to do. Stay there.
What you need to do is to live here.
Going back to the US is what I have to do. It's not what I want to do right now, especially since I left my entire family. I didn't do it on good terms.
Yeah, and you know what? Now you're going to go back, you're going to beg for your job back as an elevator repairman, and guess what they should do? No, not again, James, because this is the second time. The first time you didn't leave the country, but you still just jetted up and left your parents high and dry, but specifically your brother, who was the main guy who would go out and do the same things you would do, and here you are again. They should say no. They should say, no, James, go be a manager somewhere else, go be in retail, I don't care, you're not coming back, we're not cutting you a break here so you can save some money and leave again. That's what they should say. Now, they're family, so there's a good chance they won't, but they should. It should be a learning experience because he clearly hasn't learned his lesson.
And I'm going to make sure that you feel like you have a life and not feel like you are stuck in a box.
Uh-huh.
How?
Yeah, exactly. How? But
I'll
she's
figure it out.
See, this is the thing. She wants all these answers, and in reality, her whole thing was, you can go and work and make banana chips, but you're not going to make any money, though. But she didn't say that until the last minute when they were already planning to go over there. So now she's going to say, how are you going to make this work? She's ungrateful. And they both have their issues. They both have kept things from each other. But right now, look, stay there. Stay in Indonesia if you want to. But money-wise, you aren't going to be able to make it work. You just aren't.
Ini ngomongin terus kalau misalnya
this is going to go
lagi
well.
ke Amerika.
Uh-huh.
Maksudnya apa sih?
What does that mean? It means you, who are about to leave and go back to the own city you came in, is going to throw a tantrum because your sister is going to leave even though you're leaving. Make it make sense.
Bukannya dia ngomongnya mau tinggal di sini.
Bukannya si Cem bilang, kemarin baru aja bilang sama aku.
He said to you what? Yes, he wants to get closer to your family. But see, the one thing that no one seems to be taking into account, and I give her parents a break on this because they didn't even think they were coming back to move there. They thought she was just coming to visit. But that he wanted to get close to the family, yeah, but yet there's no money, there's no job, there's no way of doing anything. She's not making any money, he's not making any money. What, they just going to rely on her parents forever in Indonesia? How is that going to work? And no one seems to get that. Everyone always cares about themselves and not what's best for other people, and that's what we're dealing with here. The sister who wants to cry, wants to throw fits, wants to spread rumors, is now going to do it again, and yet she's just going to end up leaving again. Seems like it's probably some growing up needs to be done. Them two need to work through it. Her and Tata need to work through it because they are still acting like perpetual children in this instance.
I need somebody to talk to. Kayak dilema aja, kayak
It's
gimana
a big
sih?
choice.
Iyalah, pasti itu dilema
A
lah.
tough choice.
Karena apa sudah mengucap janji.
There you go.
Kayaknya hidup bareng. Makanya udah
Yes.
diikat. Janji pernikahan ada sendiri.
Yes. Now, as a marriage, it's a compromise. You come to a compromise, which is one thing they don't have. She went over there, which it sounds like the intention was her to go live in the United States, and that's what they did. Then she was homesick. They claimed it was medical conditions when she came over here, and magically the doctor figured out she had a thyroid issue that the doctor in the United States couldn't figure it out. Yeah, I don't buy that for a second. Either way, they come back over here. They can't live because they didn't have anything prepared. And now, as a couple, you have to make some tough choices. Now, how are you going to advance in a marriage if you can't come to terms with finances, if you're just going to completely make impulse control decisions? And that is completely putting aside the fact that they cannot come to terms with the whole child thing. She wants a child, he doesn't, and yet they're still in this kind of limbo, and that isn't getting resolved. They are doomed they are doomed to go to a divorce. They are doomed to not make it last unless some of these things they come to terms with. She needs to grow up and realize that money does have to come in. He needs to grow up and realize that they have to come to terms with some of these big decisions like children. How's that going to work? Doesn't seem like there's any progress right now.
I need to make a big decision to move back again, to stay.
Yes,
but you don't
decision.
need to talk to people about it or your family.
What?
You're not considering what I feel.
That is not what is happening right now. She's saying that because you went and told your sister, who spread rumors about him, that maybe we should have talked about how we were going to unroll this. Instead, she's presenting it as, you can't talk to your family. That is not what is happening. I don't blame him on this one because the girl spread all kinds of rumors causing all kinds of controversy because she was mad because she took her sister away, who is a grown adult just like herself. Now, if you can't find a way to grow up and be happy for your sister, I get it. That's tough. It's tough being away from family. But you being malicious about it is completely wrong. So I do understand where he is coming from in this aspect, because the fact is he's just bracing for impact with this one. But it gets better with her demands.
I see those people and have to think about how they're thinking, oh, he's just a broke guy who can't take care of his wife.
You absolutely are a broke guy who cannot take care of his wife. And you know what? It's your own damn fault. Because you did this to yourself. You didn't plan. You gave in. You came over here. You spent all your money on a wedding that you could not afford. And here you are. It's your fault. Stand up. Be a man. Y'all need to come to some sort of compromise and be able to figure this out, or it's not going to work. But you acting like, oh, I'm afraid of how people look at me. I'm like, you did it. You did it. If I mess up and people have to look at me in some kind of way, then guess what? It's my fault. So you sitting there crying about it because people are looking at you like you're not a man. You're not a man. Grow up, man up, take care of your family and figure it out. But right now, neither one of y'all have any business being married because you're not acting like you're even willing to make any changes.
Yes, because when I'm there, I do not see my family for 3.5 years. It's a lot.
My God, she's an ugly crier. Oh my gosh.
I've been thinking about it, and I want James to apply visa for Angel to come to America.
Oh, I'm sure you have been thinking about it, but he made a good point here in saying, you haven't even told me that you're going to go back with me, but he wants her to apply for Angel to come there, who is going to absolutely blow up everything that is their marriage while she is there. Guarantee it. She's not going to be happy for them. She's not going to sit there and be like, hey, things are going okay. She's going to blow it up. She's going to try to bring her sister back with her. And guess what? It's going to be nothing but destruction. That is it. And instead of realizing that, she's like, I just want my sister to come. Lady, listen, I understand. You aren't comfortable there because your family's not there. But you also don't want someone there that is going to absolutely blow up your relationship and kill your marriage. Just not going to be a good thing. They got a lot of stuff to work through, and the fact is it's not looking good for them. I don't know what's going to happen when they come up and they do the last episode and he leaves, the reunion, all that stuff, but it's not looking positive. And the fact is the way they're going right now, there's no sense in even carrying on with it. They might as well get divorced, move on with their lives. She can be with her family in Singapore, find a nice guy over there, and he can stay in Maine working as an elevator repairman, probably making a halfway decent living, and find someone else. unless they're willing to compromise. It's huge, and it's what matters in a relationship in a lot of situations. So Sarper and Shekinah have been an interesting breed the whole time they've been together because they fight like cats and dogs. He ripped out some of her weave, which was fun. He's got some anger issues. They have therapy, but yet they make it work somehow, and I feel like they should have their own reality show with the madness they go through, but they're entertaining. They are. And now we're to the point where they're finally making some advances, and she's all healed up on her nose job, and what's the next step? Your visa gets approved. She decides to make a show out of it.
Recently, you wanna look like a homeless, no makeup, recovery sickness.
You look like a homeless, no makeup recovery sickness because of her, having the surgery on her nose, which was unneeded, by the way, and she didn't even look that much different. His words, I understand broken English, but you look like a recovery homeless lately, so you dress up for me. Thank you. Like, he's a trip, man, but they got to get past this, whatever it is, the fun role play, all that kind of stuff. But could they actually have a marriage that works? Well, he thinks that a proposal might be the way to go if he's trying to get out of a certain thing. Interesting.
You're approved.
The visa was approved. Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, yay!
It's such a big deal, babe. This is a huge day.
Now that face says everything you need to know right there. There is absolutely no happiness. He has no interest in going to the United States. But again, the same thing we see with the couples in a lot of these cases is instead of actually saying that, they keep it a secret and sit here and try to figure out ways they can get out of it. Which, you know what? You want to stay, I get it. You want to stay in your home country. There's nothing wrong with that. But how the hell are you going to expect your relationship to work if you don't voice that? Then she's got to make a decision if she wants to stay there, which she's got a kid who she kind of abandoned because that kid's at boarding school. But nonetheless, she has to decide if she's going to stay over there and how it's going to work. But you don't want to say anything. Instead, you decide to come up with some sort of crazy plan to get her to get away from thinking, go to the United States. Always a blast.
He's telling me that he's going to propose because he wants to convince her to stay here. I think it's a long shot.
Yes, seems like so. His genius plan is I'm going to go ahead and propose, hopefully give her what she wants, so then she'll actually want to stay instead of leaving to go to the United States. It doesn't have to do with I actually want to marry her, although he did say he loves her and he's never really felt like anyone before. He's been married before, but he didn't feel anything. She knows about it. She's actually different. Believe what you want. See, he sounds genuine about how he cares. The problem is he's not doing it because of that. He's doing it because he's thinking, okay, might as well just go ahead and do it, and it might be the factor that makes her stay here. That's not a good way to start a marriage, and that's the problem, is none of them all these people who get married on this show don't have any clue how to be married. Now, some of it is figuring it out, of course. But if you don't know how to figure it out, or you're not willing to compromise, and you're not willing to actually work through those things together, it's not going to work. All of these couples don't seem to know how to make it work, and they're not willing to learn. That's the problem. Now, Statler and Dempsey seem to continue to have a problem with, living their hippie lifestyle in a van, which neither one of them really want to live the way they want to live. Dempsey wants to just be kind of free, not worry about money, all those things. Statler wants to be completely organized, but yet she wants to have some sort of roles for each of them since she's the one that's working, and neither one of them wants to compromise. Problem with Statler is originally she was the biggest problem. She was the kind of person who wasn't trying to really have fun, was always playing up her anxiety, and that was a big problem. But now it seems like Dempsey doesn't really want to actually do anything and really contribute. And that's a big problem.
And cooking.
So she told her that there's, now that I'm working, we need to figure out some things because I'm working, you're not. So what can you do some things during the day? There's nothing wrong with that. That's reasonable. She's saying something about ordering a table or a table's broken. Now, she goes on to say why she doesn't want to do that.
But like, if something needs ordering from, say, like online or something, I think that you're more than able to do that.
What the hell? You are more than able to order something online. She's asking you a simple thing like, I'm working, I have to work for 30 days straight, I work 10 hours a day, on the computer, sure, but sitting there, it's a pain in the ass, for real. Can you order this? Can you do these minor things? And yet, I think you can do that. Something is seriously wrong with that. Like, what are you doing? You can't simply order something. You can't simply do these minor things because you want to live free and go explore while she works all day. I mean, that's messed up. Now, granted, Dempsey makes the point of, you said you were okay with this. Sure, doesn't mean you don't have to contribute at all. Like you're just funding your happy-go-lucky lifestyle in the van. That's still messed up. Y'all need to work it out together somehow.
Me and Statler have different outlooks. I'm more like peace and love and happiness.
Yay, peace and love and
I
happiness.
try and stay positive about things. I try to support her in the ways that she needs supporting. But I'm not going to change who I am. Just
listen. No one says, like, you were supportive and trying your best to be supportive when it came to the anxiety. I was completely against her about that because she used it every step of the way. But right now, you're not being supportive at all in the hard things you have to do to actually make this van life crazy idea that y'all are doing work. Instead, you want to be happy-go-lucky. You want to go out and just wander around in the woods and not really do anything because you want to live this perpetual vacation and feel like you never have to work again. Well, that's going to become some problems. And you acting like, I'm not going to change who I am. Again, we are stuck on this of compromise. You don't have to change who you are, but when you get into a serious relationship, a marriage, whatever it is, you do change some things to come to a compromise, come to an agreement where y'all can make it work. No one stays the exact person they are because guess what? People evolve and you have to in life. To make relationships work, you have to evolve. It's just the reality of the situation. If you're not willing to do that, you might as well just end this whole thing now.
I mean, I think 1 month isn't fair because I'll be working that whole month.
They're talking about after a certain period of time, figuring out if they're going to change and, actually end this whole crazy experiment.
So, I mean, like in 2 months, if we're in an unhealthy place, I think probably we should, sell the van.
What?
Part ways.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
And carry on our lives as individuals.
Yeah, you think that's a good idea? Guess what's going to happen? So Dempsey goes on to say that, yeah, I don't want to sell the van. You know why she don't want to sell the van? It's in her name. She doesn't have to sell the van. You know what's not going to happen? The van's not going to get sold. She's going to drop you off on a corner, tell you have fun, go back to America, and she's going to have the van. Now, at that point, it only lasts so long if she's not making any money, but she's not going to sell it. So her saying this is like, it's pointless. It's you trying to feel good about, we have an out point. Guess what's not going to happen? All of what you just said. Dempsey's going to agree with you, and then if you come back and say, yeah, we need to sell the van, she's going to say, yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
But I think if we're not understanding one another, then I don't know if it'll work or not.
Yeah, it won't work, but the problem is she's going to go ahead and make the decision, say, yeah, it's not going to work, so have a nice life. Are we going to sell the van? No, I'm not. So that's what's going to happen with them. So they can talk and act like they have some kind of endpoint, some kind of compromise. But in reality, it's Dempsey or it's Statler's compromise. It's not Dempsey's. Dempsey knows what she's going to do. She wants to keep that. And she just has a feeling of, well, if I have to, I'll just create or work odd jobs and make some cash. And we'll just go that way. Of course, she'll probably end up homeless with a broken down van on the side of the road. But you know what? That's what you get with a happy-go-lucky, free-spirited person. Trouble comes along with it if you don't plan it all. So this one, I'll tell you what, this tell-all is going to be interesting because I don't know that any of them are going to come to the tell-all in a good place or together or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. We'll see if anyone lasts. I am not confident. Not. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you catch Married at First Sight tomorrow. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I appreciate all the support, and I will see y'all next time.